Hello you lovely people and welcome. It's been a while since I've come back to the Typhoon and did an updated variant of the Autopilot and navigation. So I thought I'd do a more up-to-date version because we've been through a couple of variants of the Typhoon now and some things have changed. So if you have seen my previous ones, I've now put in the title that they're outdated, so this will be the more up-to-date one. So if you're new to the Typhoon, hopefully this is the one that you'll click on. So basically I've made a simple flight plan from Coningsby, Cranwell, Wannington, Otbed, my own custom waypoint to D070 Tango, and then I'm going to come back towards Coningsby. I'm just purely going to show you how to configure the aircraft to follow the flight plan and bring it round back to Coningsby. Simple as that. So let's jump in the cockpit. Okay, so as you can see we have come to stop short of runway 25. Now if we look at our left MFD here, you can see there's kind of a racetrack pattern here. That's our flight plan. So we know that the flight plan is in, and now all we're going to do is taxi out to the runway, get configured and follow that flight plan. So we'll need the autopilot selection there. Get out onto the runway first. Stop here. Sun's bright. Okay, right, so I'm going to set, well actually I'm going to leave the altitude at 3000, but if we wanted to change it we can do so using these cursor buttons here, and if we want to change the speed we'll come up here, change it to speed select, and we can change that using these buttons again, but you must make sure that the lines are highlighting the top and bottom. So about 330 knots that'll do. We can also change it so it does all-weather landing system. That will keep the speed at around about 250 knots until we hit glide slope, and then we have Super Cruise, which I'll show you very shortly. We've got the vertical speed, which is in auto mode, and climb, which is in auto mode. So let's get back to our speed select. Okay, and we're just going to take off. So I'm going to use burners for this. Don't have a lot of fuel on board. Up, gear up. Okay, so throttle back, and to engage this autopilot we're just going to click autopilot from standby to active, hit altitude, and we also want auto throttle on, and to follow the flight plan all we're going to do is hit track. Now hit climb, or climb to 3000 feet. Admittedly, the one thing I forgot to do before we took off was zero out the altimeter, but I think we were okay. So we're heading for RAF Cranwell, which is just here. By the time we hit Cranwell we should make our turn to the right, head towards Waddington. There we go. We're tracking on to RF Waddington. Now Lincoln is just there. You can see Cathedral. Waddington is just over to the left hand side of that. I believe that could be there. Yep, there we go. There's RAF Waddington, Lincoln Cathedral. Now making the right hand turn onto Autopilot. As you can see, we've hit our altitude. All we need to do is click altitude hold. Coningsby there, on our way back shortly. See it on the map there. If you're wondering, obviously all of your information is up here on the HUD, so you can see we're going for Autopilot at the moment. How much longer we've got until we hit our target and our distance in nautical miles. Same again is repeated in the HUD repeater on the MFD to the right here. So we're less than 5 nautical miles from Autopilot now. You can see on our map it's upcoming. And then we've got our custom, which is just up a little bit further. We'll cut short of that and work our way down towards D070 Tango. And we're turning on to D070 Tango, as indicated there, and is indicated there, and is indicated there. So if any doubt, we've got plenty of places to check. Okay, and now we're going to be turning on finals towards RF Coningsby. A couple of things I'm going to do here. I'm going to input the frequency for the ILS at runway 25, which is 111.15. Okay, I'm going to change the speed to all-weather landing system. Let it decelerate to 250 knots. Let's get to 250 knots. I am going to drop the landing gear. Got Coningsby just there. Go. Excellent. How far out are we? 15 nautical miles. A bit too far out. Drop the gear just yet. Wait till we get below 10 nautical miles. right below 10 nautical miles, drop the gear. While we do that, we're going to click aids, next page, activate the VOR1, and click app. Okay, we're slightly above glide slope, so that's why we've dropped. We've got glide slope indicator here to the left, obviously our localizer across the top. Now, you won't get any of this indication unless you drop the gear and you have the ILS plumbed in, obviously. So as you can see, we're now dropping speed, we have glide slope, we have localizer, so it's just riding it in until we get to just over the runway, and the autopilot will cut off, and then we can just manually touch down ourselves. As you can see, we've got localizer 1 ICNY frequency, the degrees that we're facing, so just over 25, and we are less than 6 nautical miles out. Checking gear down, it is definitely down. I can't see any indications. We've got DDD, which means all three are down. Just putting your faith in the flight computer now. Moment, you'll see that the autopilot will disengage, so just be wary and you will need to take control. Okay, we have disengagement, and just pull back slightly on the stick. Until we have a nice light touchdown. Okay, and there we go. Simple enough. Bit of aero braking. Okay, let's do a little bit of our own navigation. Right, okay, so this time I've just gone up from Coningsby. It's just behind me, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is just do some simple navigation using VORs, TACANs, and then we will do a bit of autopilot functionality, and then finish off with another ILS landing. So if we get ourselves level here. Okay, so in the case of doing your own navigation, you're going to need to come into aids, click nav mode, and we're going to have to switch on VOR1 standby to active. But before that we need to actually put in a frequency. So let's have a look. I'm going to consult my book of wisdom. So from Coningsby we've got Gamston, Ottringham, Trent. So I'm going to try Ottringham, so on 13 decimal 900. Okay, and then what we're going to do is switch on the VOR standby. As you can see, we've got course deviation indicator here on the course needle, and we can turn that left and right using this rotation knob here, and we can do our heading using this knob here, but that won't become active until we switch heading hold on. So what I'm going to do is going to tune into Ottringham and I'm going to hit heading hold. I'm only using the autopilot because of I'm trying to talk us through at the same time. So if we turn our heading bug onto there, we're slightly over, and hit altitude hold as well. Okay, we're now heading towards the Ottringham VOR, and to make sure that that is the case, in nav1 we've got OTR for Ottringham, the frequency, the heading, and how far away we actually are from it. Now while I'm at it, I've not done any nav sort of flying for a little while. And last time I did, Gamston wasn't working. Gamston should be slightly closer. So if I put in 112.800, so let's go for 112.800, and no, Gamston is still not working. How very odd. It was working absolutely fine until a couple of updates ago, and then all of a sudden it's just, well, ceased to exist. So with that I'm going to try Trent VOR, which is 115.700. Okay, so there we go. Nav1 Trent 115.700 on 256 for 42. So yes, that's further away, but it shows you that we can do our nav. There we go, that's better. Course deviation indicators start to move, and now we can start turning onto that heading. Lovely jubbly. Which brings us a little bit further out from Cranwell, which was kind of the plan, because then we're going to transit back in towards Coningsby using Takans. Stop glitching, bloody computer. So we're kind of equidistant between Trent VOR and Ottringham, with East Coast over there and all of our bases out in that direction. So as you can see, we're now tracking on to Trent VOR, all nice. So what I'm going to do now, go into aids, go into nav mode, switch off the VOR1 back to standby, come back and we're going to put TACAN from standby to on. Now, we don't have any CDI just yet, but I'm going to put in the TACAN code for Waddington, 118 X-ray, so we come down to here, 118, enter. Okay, so we've got 118 X-ray there. As you can see, we've now got a CDI, got all our information telling us that we are tuned in to Waddington, which is behind us over here. Shows a quicker way of doing this. Okay, get that course deviation indicator there. Quickly turn up. Now we've got oral tone as well to let us know that the Morse code is locked in, to tell us that we're on Waddington's TACAN. Listen very closely. Okay, so we are turning back in towards Waddington, a little bit too close to get it spot on, although not far off it there. That'll do nicely. Okay, and while we're heading out towards Waddington, we'll take a look at the autopilot pretty quickly. It's not too difficult. So, as you can see, it's already on. We're on heading hold. We'll keep it on heading hold for now. And what I'm going to do is change the altitude. So at the moment we are at 3,390. And change the altitude to 10,000 and hit climb, and you'll see that we'll have a very shallow climb. That's because we aren't exactly set an order light speed wise, but if I come down to, well, come up here, change that to speed select again, we're going to change that to, let's change that to 400 knots, desired airspeed, which is DAS, hit auto throttle, reheat has kicked in, we're speeding up, okay, so we've hit our airspeed of 400 knots, in ground speed 422, we can change that to Mach if we so wish. Okay, and we've just gone over the top of Waddington. As you can see, that will change round, should line up again. Well, actually no, it won't, not until I turn that all the way round. Then it will line up and show that we are flying away. Oh, it's coming back in now. So we're flying away from VOR, not chasing it. Coningsby dead ahead of us. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, and we're still climbing. Heading hold I've already showed you. Tracking was the previous one. Altitude hold just does the altitude hold. Approach does ILS. Okay, and I'm going to bring the altitude back down now because I'm awkward. Back down to 3,000 feet. Okay, the speed's cut off now, we're in a shallow dive. In fact, I'm going to change that speed and we're going to go back to ground speed, slow that down to 300 knots. And we can change the vertical speed. I believe we used to be able to. Not done that one for a while. No. Get climb versus. Okay, so here we go. Change R. We can either shallow it out, or we can extend the range vertical speed. Okay, I've got altitude. I'm going to stick altitude hold on for now. Looks like we're heading out for the wash anyway. Climb. Okay, stick it in the minus. And what that will do is it will hold at that, whatever you set it to, it will hold it until it hits your desired altitude, which is the D alt there. So we can go as shallow or as steep as you kind of want. Wait for it to hit 3000. Okay, you can see it's shallowing out now as we're approaching 3000 feet. There you go, you can now change that back to auto, so that will automatically set its optimum dive or climb angle. And I'm just going to hit altitude hold there now because it'll take forever. And we're just going to, I don't want to head towards East Anglia, I want to stay in the Lincolnshire area, because we're going to do an ILS approach into Coningsby once more. So what we're going to do is we're now going to change, we'll go back into aids, we're going to turn off the TACAN, and now we will go with the VOR1, but what we're going to do before we do that, change the approach, the frequency for the approach to 111.15. Click that. Okay, and as you can see, we now have an ILS localizer for that. What we're going to do, we're just going to come out to the edge of Lincolnshire here, just up near Skegness. We'll do a left-hand turn. Hopefully that will bring us into the right approach, and then I'll get the aircraft set up for ILS landing. Oh, I've got the helmet mounted sight on, and I didn't want that on. Okay, that's off. If you ever wondered, it does have a helmet mounted sight, but I never have that on because it's just confusing. Okay, let's make our left hand turn. Head on 340, 340, sorry. 20 nautical miles out from the approach. We need to be on 251. So we can come out of aids and go back to autopilot, because we're going to use some of those functions in a moment. Coningsby's out there somewhere, it could be at there actually. So wait for the deviation indicator to start coming towards us. Okay, start turning in. I think I'm going to overdo it here. Doesn't matter too much because we can turn back in. At least we're heading in the right direction. Indicator in, still heading towards it, 16 nautical miles out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the speed to all-weather landing system again, get it down to 250 knots so I can get the gear down. There's Coningsby just there. Start turning it in. That's pretty sweet if I do say so myself. Okay, I'm going to do this slightly different to previous. I'm going to get the gear down now. Okay. And I'm going to hit approach now. So, okay, the glide slope is coming up now. There we go, we captured the glide slope. So we are now going to guide ourselves in. So we're not far from touchdown, just making sure that your throttle is all the way back, otherwise it will throttle back up again. Once that autopilot disconnects, pull back on the stick and let it float down. Okay, and you're down. Bit of aero braking. brake out if you need to. And there you go. So hopefully I've covered everything in this update. Some of you may already know the new features, or you know, not really new anymore, but people are going back to my old video and saying that things are different, and you know, they can't get it to work, and that's the whole reason for me doing this updated nav autopilot video. So hopefully you've got something from this. If you have, then that's my job done. And if you got this far, thank you for watching, and as always, take care, and I will catch you in the next one.